welcome to Go Riding TV. In today's show, we head to Mossport for an amateur track day. Our camera connects with the quad crew out for a little rodeo competition. And for a more leisurely ride, how about a quick cruise in the amphibious car?
Go Riding TV is brought to you by GoRideOntario.com. Ontario, yours to discover. By YAMAHA, what kind of Yamaha are you? And by G-Max Helmets, quality helmets for everyone and every ride.
Grab the throttle, let's go riding. It was a challenging day. Man, machine, and a few tricky bits of terrain, but these rodeo ATV riders had a blast and were as happy as pigs in mud. Sometimes literally.
Now, one of my favorite events here is the rodeo. Now, this thing is based on total skill. You got to shift your rate, you got to gear down based on total skill. And it's the one event that ends with a big splash.
Here we go, just missing the fighters. Launch it off, wide, the big splash!
Well, the rodeo started because there was such an interest in ATVing up here. So we wanted something for the average person to do, not the racer. To come and have fun, compete with other people, get to know other ATVers, join the OFATV. So that's really why it started.
What are the rules and the regulations to do the rodeo? Like, what do you have to know?
Well, we have a men's class and ladies class.
Okay.
So what we've done is we started with 0 to 250 cc's, 250 to 400, and 400 and over. So that's for the ladies and the men's division. So we set up the obstacle course, and what we do is we time them to go through, and whoever wins the best time gets the prize.
So you really got to know how to maneuver and work your ATV vehicle.
Absolutely. It's more on skills.
Yeah.
Than actually how fast you go. I mean, that actually, it helps.
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to maneuver and work your ATV,
you're not going to do much good at all.
That's right. Then you're not going to get through the course.
It's a good event to show off.
It is. It's great.
But you know, the best part is when I go through that puddle. That's what I love. I saw one guy, he tipped right over. He's laughing so hard.
He was great. And actually, you know what? He didn't even register, so I didn't even know who he was.
I know some of the younger guys, the little tykes, they don't go through that swamp, that pond there.
It's nice to see the kids out this year because last year we didn't have any children.
Yeah.
So they had the little the 80 cc's, and they're going through and they're having a ball. And they want to play with the big guys, and their dads are right over here rooting for them.
But that way they learn the skills that they need, and they become better ATV users. Riders.
That's right, and hopefully they'll be back year after year, and it's a fun thing, and it helps them build their confidence as well, because there's no pressure on them.
Yeah.
It's not a race,
Yeah.
so there's no pressure on them, and they're learning new skills, so that's good.
Using ATVs in a rodeo is a relatively new sport, so there was lots of beginners and lots of plans to keep on riding.
How was it out there?
Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah?
We were here last year, and I was never on an ATV until last year at this event.
Really?
Just had a ball, and I couldn't wait for it this year again.
When you went in that mud, when you went in the water, I should say, could you see after that?
I don't remember hitting the water.
Really?
I just saw it coming, and I floored it and thought, that's great stuff. That's the best part of it.
Definitely this oversized bog was the big attraction, especially when a few keeners battle for the title of King of the Mud.
Well, my friend, you were doing so well, and then that pond kind of grabbed you and sucked you in. What happened there?
Kind of wanted to make it all the way across without even touching the water, you know what I mean?
You had so much power going in.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. I was a little bit on an angle too, right? So, but yeah, it was a good one.
It was a good event. That was a 10.
Livens it up. That livens.
Are you kidding? Now everybody's awake now.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was good. I'll have to do it again now.
I don't know how you can beat that. I mean, that's it. That is it.
I can beat it.
You can?
Oh, yeah.
The rodeo is the ideal event to let the everyday rider show off their techniques. Everyone's welcome, and all makes and models were brought to give it a go. Here's a sampling of what the fans and the riders got to see.
riding returns, we hook up with the Old Faithful for some vintage two-wheeling.
Today we're at the Canadian Vintage Motorcycle Group's annual rally, and already we've seen a wonderful array of vintage machines, beautifully restored, and let's go and see exactly what they have to show. I'm here with Doug, looking at the display of motorcycles, and I see right here, Doug, we have a BSA Bantam, and that's a D3?
It is so.
There's many of these around the world today, and how does this one run?
This one runs pretty good. It hasn't, this is the first time I've had it out in 3 years, but it runs beautifully, and it's a fun bike to ride. They're a lot of fun. Yeah. They're light and they handle well.
The only thing I do remember, there's a bit of a quirk with them, is that, you know, if you rode them for any extended time, they tended to seize up on you, and then you have to wait. In my days when I used to smoke, I don't smoke anymore, but when I used to, it was one cigarette and I could ride away again on it.
That's right, yeah. Now, it's still pretty much a one cigarette break.
Great G9 matchless. What year is this one, Bob?
51.
Well, I've done a really nice job. I mean, it's immaculate. And when I was a kid growing up, it was one of the bikes that we all envied that we'd love to ride.
You're absolutely right. And I wanted to ride one, but I never owned one, so I bought one after I retired.
There's a definite ritual for starting a big single like a Gold Star.
Put it in neutral, yeah. Ignition slightly retarded. Decompression lever is the trigger on the other side, just goes down an inch.
This is a Nera car, 1922. So Ed, how long have you had this particular model?
Oh, about 10 years.
So now you're going to start it up for us so we can see what a Nera car sounds like.
And it should go first kick.
So the Nera car was pretty near to a motorcycle. Is that what it is? Near to a car?
Near to a car, yeah. Built like a car.
So it was trying to appeal to maybe the less fortunate who couldn't own a car back in those days, right? Yeah. It was a cheap Nera car transportation.
And lady riders.
So you make sure you get out of the way of a Nera car when you heard that coming down the road. This machine here is reputed to be the machine that killed the British motorcycle industry. This is a 450 Hellcat, extremely reliable machine. Went bloody quickly, would do 100 miles an hour, no problem, and carry 2 people. And it didn't leak oil. And in England, when I was a young motorcyclist growing up, we used to call this the 750 Slayer.
It's a 1953 500 single. It's called a VHA, and they made this for 1 year in the blue for the coronation of the Queen.
How did you come by the bike?
I actually bought it in Frankfurt, Ontario in 1977. It was in the local shoppers market for $65.
This is early motorcycle lighting. This is an acetylene lighting system. And the trouble with them was that more often than not, just when you needed the light the most, they would disappear on you, especially if you ran out of acetylene. And my dad told me many a story of riding down through the country roads in the back of England with his old Nortons and with an acetylene light system on there, and all of a sudden, absolute darkness.
The Paris Rally is in its 35th year of operation and is run by the Canadian Vintage Motorcycle Group, formed in 1967 by 13 vintage bike enthusiasts in Mississauga, Ontario. The group now has over 1,700 members across Canada and owns over 5,000 motorcycles covering some 200 different makes. VADA Seeds is the rally chair.
Canada has 100 years history of motorcycling, and it isn't recognized hardly anywhere. And that's the purpose of the club, to preserve those motorcycles and the history of motorcycling, as well as all kinds of regalia, any type of posters, magazines, anything. It's not just motorcycles, and it's the people who rode motorcycles too that we'd like to preserve that history.
You've done a heck of a job with this, was it a 73 Bonneville, 750?
Right. It's built out of abandoned bike parts. So I call it bits up because it's made out of bits and pieces from different bikes.
Ron, would you like to tell us a little bit about the Black Shadow that you have here today?
Well, it's a 51. It's been totally restored. I've had it since 2004, and I regularly ride it. And it's a dream bike for me.
I remember as a young guy going down the highway on my Triumph, thinking I was going pretty fast, doing about 95 miles an hour, when an elderly gentleman went by me on one of these, doing about 120 with his deerstalker hat and
with no effort.
With no effort, and his great big thundering sound and his big V twin, and it just totally deflated me.
Like I said, it was a dream bike for me since I was about 12 years old, and finally got a chance to acquire one.
I think you and every young guy that was interested in motorcycles.
This is a unique bike.
The name Chicago, where did that come from?
Because Mr. Koslov is from Chicago.
Oh, I see, okay.
This is a flathead Harley engine.
What year was that again, Richard?
34.
34? Basically, this is a souped up for its time then, Richard.
Yeah,
the engine is a souped up version for its time, right? Right. So, and how many of these particular motorcycles were made?
That's the only one I know, and it should be 3.
There should have been 3, but this is the only one that you know of that's still in existence.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? This has been a great day at the Canadian Vintage Motorcycle Rally, and to top it off, here we have a 1918 Indian board racer in wonderful condition, and it looks like it'll do 100 miles an hour. Apparently it'll do 80 or 90. A befitting bike to take a look at the end of our day.
How to cure the need for speed. Up next on Go Riding.
The streets are no place to push it, but if you want to see what your bike can handle and what you can take, you'll love this. Track days are perfect to keep the speed where it belongs, on the track.
You know, sport bikes have been really popular over the years, and they've come a long way in technology. But you know, riding on the street really isn't the best place to find the performance envelope. That's why we tell people, go to a track day. You cannot beat a track day to find out the performance of a machine like this. In fact, I bought this 04R6 just 2 days ago. Why? Because I couldn't wait and didn't want to miss the next Mosport track day. These track days are absolutely addictive. You really can't push the performance of a bike like this on the road, but at the track, you can push as far as you possibly want.
I tell you, you're probably safer on a racetrack than you are anywhere else on a motorcycle. The racetrack is a controlled environment. It has a one-way traffic flow. We have corner marshals at all the stations. We have flagging people. We have an ambulance. Those are some of the things you don't have on the back roads of Ontario or anywhere else that you ride.
It's a lot safer environment, obviously. It's nice to wind it out and not have to worry about an officer, seeing flashing lights. But it's fun also just to get out here and, again, like I said, to be with the guys and go fast and learn riding techniques and different corners. You can change your lines throughout the day and just get a real feel for the bike and actually see what the bike can do. The speed, no police, no radar. And just sheer fun, the camaraderie of all the guys out here. I mean, you need a tool, you need, obviously tires. We have tire people here. Everything's here for you. It's a great bunch of guys.
I was out on Tuesday with the Twisted Sisters, and unfortunately we kind of got rained out with the tornado that went through, so it was a short day for us, but we got a couple laps in anyways and had a good time that day. I'm addicted. I'm going to do it again and again and again and again. So it's good. I like it a lot. There's no transports, no cops, no kids, no dogs, there's a chipmunk, but that's okay. No, it's just a lot different. You don't have to worry about what's behind you, just what's in front of you, as opposed to all the other stuff that you got to deal with on the street. You can do it just at your own pace and your own time. It's a progressive thing, and you just learn every lap that you go out there, and you just change a little bit as you go, and nothing's dramatic. It's all slow and smooth, and you get fast by being smooth.
I come to track days because I realized very quickly after riding on the street for many years, I should say, is that it's the place where you should be riding, and on the streets you should be using it as a mode of transportation. I'm much slower and I'm much more careful, and I don't feel the need to go fast on the street at all anymore. I think it's a little crazy. There's so many variables that you can't count on. Even on a racetrack, there's multiple variables that you can't control. They're out of your control, and that's scary enough, let alone pop cans, oil slicks, people not looking where they're going, and people just not seeing you.
A friend of mine brought me out here, and I just wanted to see what it was like. It's a lot different than the street, more enjoyable actually. Get a chance to really let your bike go, and not have to worry about pedestrians and cars and stuff like that. It's a lot safer.
The fun factor is the biggest thing. You know, the fun factor for the guys who come out here and they're just sad it's over at the end of the day. You know, it's just incredible. We try to get guys. We've noticed our street business has fallen off this year due to the insurance rates, and more people we tell to come out to the track are taking our advice and doing it. And in the past, we've had people say, "Oh, well, it's dangerous, and I'm crazy, and I shouldn't come to the track." And I'm thinking, well, if you're crazy and aggressive, you should be at the track, because there's a group for you. You know, we separated into groups, and you can go ride with the racers if you're fast enough, or you can go ride with a slow group, no passing group. That's way safer than the street.
You learn more here than you ever will on the street. It's awesome. Good camaraderie. These guys are great. I met them last year at the first track day I went to, and they took me in and taught me a few things, and they're doing the same today, so great people.
We have some experienced veteran road racers, even some of our new hot shoe amateur riders, guys like Eric Warren, Craig Atkinson. They're guys that can come out, and we get them to lead around the beginner guys, show them the racing line, show them which direction that they need to go. They can also talk to those experienced riders when they pull back into the pit area. Hey, you know what should I do about this, or can I try that? And later in the afternoon, we'll get those same racers / instructors for track days to follow the rider around and show them maybe talk to them when they come back into the pit area and tell them, you know what, in corner 2 you really need to try and do this, or you need to try and do that, and can give them tips on riding position and just your body on the bike and how it works best.
There's many different levels today here. We have 3 different levels of riding. Throughout the levels there's different varieties of riding skill. I think anyone that would come out would have fun, no matter what level. I think if you ride within your limits and not get caught up with the guy in front of you that's maybe just passed you, double your speed, I think you'll be fine all in all. You can't have any redos on the street. There's the curbing, there's telephone poles, there's everything else out here. You've got runoff, you've got lots of road. You have double the road and more.
Closed captioning is sponsored by GoRidingTV.com, the powersports website for all enthusiasts.
Don't go away. When Go Riding returns, we head to the water for a ride of the crossover nature. Here's some good advice for all you off-road riders. Hey, I'm Michelle, and today we're going to work on braking. The main brake, obviously, on a dirt bike is your back brake. However, more street-oriented riders are used to using their front brake, which in the dirt is a pretty big no-no. It's loose gravel, so as soon as you grab a whole handful, you're going to be down on the ground. So you want to make sure if you are going to use it, you apply a light amount, unless it's an emergency stop, and then you should be using both brakes. Okay, so if I'm riding on a normal course like this at a pretty even speed and I just see something and jam the brakes on, it's pretty easy to lose the front end, so especially since I grabbed a whole handful of it. So the back brake is your best bet in the dirt.
Here's a beauty ride for you, and it gives you some options. It's the Amphicar. Manufactured in Germany between 1961 and 68, 3,800 of these amphibious car boats were built and are now considered collector's gold. Weighing in at 2,300 pounds and running a 4-cylinder water-cooled engine, performance of the Amphicar wasn't its selling point. Car and Driver magazine tested one in 1967 and recorded its road performance as a leisurely 0 to 60 time of 43 seconds. And estimated the top speed at 105 km, 65 mile an hour. As a boat, they reported a top speed of 6 knots or 11 km, 7 miles an hour. An interesting Amphicar story tells the tale of 2 groups of adventurers running a 165-mile trip down the Yukon River in 1965. Brave souls, but what a cool ride.
Stop, stop. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're good. Nice and easy now. Whoa, put brake, brake, brake. Just go easy. I'm just going to bring you down off this rock, okay? So nice and easy. Keep the brake on. Nice and easy. Easy, easy, easy. There you go. You're down.
I hope you don't show my wife this one.
Go Riding TV has been brought to you by Yamaha. What kind of Yamaha are you? By GoRideOntario.com. Ontario, yours to discover. And by Snowgore Canada Magazine, Canada's best snowmobiler. Coming next week, Mike Holmes from Homes on Homes saddles up his ATV, and the Ride for Sight attracts thousands of supporters.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching, and remember, if you have any ideas, comments, or cool events you'd like our team to cover, surf our website at GoRidingTV.com. Send them to us. We'd love to hear from you.